Okay.
I don't know, I'm always irritated though. That's my secret. I'm always angry. So I guess we can start on our topic. So we try to go live to do our manifested drama, but apparently I'm scandalous. And
This
I got
hoe over here shaking her ass.
TikTok because I said the words trying to get Amy to join, and then Amy said, "Does she have to be on her desktop?" And I said, "On her phone." And I said, "Yes." And then all of a sudden it was like, "Boop, your TikTok access is limited until May 12th, or your live TikTok access." So
What?
yeah, yeah. And now it says my live access is suspended. So it's stupid.
All because
And then
you
it
I
says I filed an appeal, and it says we reviewed your appeal and found you violate the community. Your live access will not be restored until this one. What? I'm
That's
filing another
so
fucking appeal.
crazy.
I'm filing another appeal. That's so stupid. And they didn't fucking look at it. And there's nothing sexual. It's probably some fucking Chinese bot. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So I guess we'll try the live thing again next weekend. So some of our topics are a week old, a little bit over a week old, just because life has gotten in the way of just all of us.
Mhm.
Just so you know, like I fell in the shower. I told you when you were doing your live the other day. Um,
Yeah.
the bottom of our shower was very, very, very slippery. So I
Mhm.
like ass over in, like I step in because it's a shower, so I step in, literally like just fucking feet overhead, laying on my back. My hip hits the little metal part where the shower door goes. But our door came off a long time ago, so we had a shower brought up, and the fucking shower I came in, my mouth is like busted the fuck up on the inside. One of my teeth is loose. I have like a big bruise on my hip, my mouth, and I'm yelling for Kevin. And I'm just telling you, like, he is in deep shit because you know how guys don't always make the toilet, like make it in the toilet. I can feel like pea slime on my back from where he's not made it in the toilet. And I'm talking,
Man.
if I was like a little bit taller, like I'd have been like in concussion league. But I'm yelling for him, like, babe, babe, he's on here. And then finally I was like, Kevin!
Oh,
And then
when you give them the government name, they know they're in
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. So he came, and then Rylan was like, "Oh my god!" Because she walked in. I'm there, like I'm naked as like not the day I was born because I was not born with all these lumps and bumps, right? Just and I was thinking, God, if the fucking like firemen had to come and get my hefty bitch ass, first of all, they'd have had to pick my like portly self up, get me because my bathroom door, as you can see behind me, is like super narrow. Like I'm
Mhm.
just like Jesus, I'm like at least cover me with the shower curtain that just fucking assaulted me something. But I was like,
Yeah.
you need to clean the fucking bathroom floor. This is ridiculous. I was like, that's all. He was like, what do you want to shower? And I was like, yeah, I don't want your fucking pee off my back.
That's I'm so sorry.
So it could have been worse, but it was just one of those that it was like, fuck my life. It just,
I mean, it could have been worse, but it sounds like it was bad enough.
oh yeah, like I'm not gonna, cause I have lipstick on, but like the whole inside my tooth, I have a scratch here. Like my tooth almost came through my gums.
Ow.
This tooth is loose. Yeah, there's like a knot right here. I have like a knot on my elbow. I have like a huge bruise all across my hip from like hitting that metal. And I'm
Oh.
just, and our softball game, thank God, was canceled. It was gonna be at 6 today. I'm so glad it was canceled because I was like, I haven't made a one yet, but I was like, they're planning on going to this one, and I was like, fuck, I can't tell them I'm not coming again. And then since it's been raining off and on, they just canceled games. But it's like sunshiny as fuck right now.
Well, I'm glad that things worked out for the better for you.
So let's dive into our list. Like I said, some of these are a little bit old. They're
Yeah.
from like a week and a half ago. So April 20th was like my last one. So literally like over 2 weeks. But did
Mhm.
you see where people were I don't think they were necessarily saying Taylor's because you've been listening to the album, right? So her I
Mhm.
Hate It Here song,
Yeah.
where she says she wants to go back to I think it was 1830, but without all the racists.
Mhm.
And that was just, like, it didn't age well.
Okay, if this isn't the if this isn't a clear-cut example of people grasping at straws,
Mhm.
like, it's like and I don't consider myself a Swiftie, but I give credit where credit is due, and that bitch has done some things in this past year. And it's almost like, oh, well, she said this one little thing, so we've
Yeah.
got to blow it way out of proportion and be like, it's not always that deep.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just is. I always say that I wish I was born in the 70s. Oh, you want to go back to, like when the America was in a war with Vietnam, and I'm just like, it was a fucking
No.
question. I didn't know I
You
was going to
wanna
get
go
all
back to
shook up
when
on a
women
cross
didn't have
over it.
rights and shit, and you
Mhm.
wanna,
No,
shut
I
it
just want
down?
to get a hold of some good drugs.
Halifax.
Yes.
I think what it was is that so she basically said, "Yeah, I would go back to 1830s, to accept all the racists," and everybody's like, then there'd be, like, nobody there. And I'm like, "Well, that's" I think it was just kinda tone deaf of, like,
Maybe
it.
that's the point. She's like, I want to go back with no racist in 1830 so I can be by my fucking self. And
Yeah.
then maybe me and my cats can get some personal space.
Yeah, and she said, following the lyric, Tyler also describes women at the time being married to the highest bidder. Everyone looked on because it wasn't fun now. Seems like it was never fun back then. Nostalgia is a mind's trick. If I'd been there, I'd hate it. It was freezing in the palace. It's just one of those that it's like, mm, people are, like you said, they're digging. And I think that's what it is we get to the point where everything a white person can do can be construed as racist
Yeah.
in some little form or fashion, just digging at straws and tearing people like Taylor, like her comment was for like the good, where she
Hmm.
said, "Yeah, we need to go back, but there shouldn't be all the racism, slavery, all of that stuff." That's basically what she did, you know.
Hmm.
But it's not that serious and it's not that deep.
It's really not. And I mean, like I said, people are reaching, you know,
Hmm.
and it's sad. It's sad to see. It's sad that more people can't just be happy for the success that she's had, and continues to have. It's like they have to, and it's not just her, they do it to everybody.
Oh yeah,
um some people deserve it, like Haley Bieber, but we but
or
like,
Julianne Hough, where she wore
or
the
yeah,
blackface for doing as crazy as to. I was like,
yeah,
"Man, like you've been in
sometimes
Hollywood, just relax."
sometimes tough lessons like that are necessary. And like, if you're going to be so, like,
Fucking
so
sensitive.
you're gonna be so insensitive to something, then yeah, you deserve to get that all over TV and social media and everything. But what the fuck did Taylor do to anybody?
It's the whole thing that's cool. Kevin just texted me because he's not allowed to talk about an article I think he read. What did you say?
Article once. It was like about the American past being offended now.
America's pastime instead of sports that's being offended is what he read an article on.
Yeah,
You can
I
see
can
that.
see that. I
If
can
we
see
had
that.
more than 3 listeners at a time, we'd probably offend a lot of people.
I can't wait till we can offend everybody.
I know we're
It's
gonna
gonna
go
be
broad.
so great.
I guess I was looking
Like,
at
we'll get
Instagram
a message
yesterday.
from TikTok saying you are never allowed to go live again.
You're not
Ever.
on TikTok ever again.
Yeah,
Um,
we're suspending both of your accounts.
I'll just make a new one.
Do it. I'll make my own social media. If Trump can do it, it can't be that
Oh my
fucking
god.
hard.
Ugh. Yeah. Um, Speaking of Trump, since you brought Trump up, did you see the article I sent you where the guy set himself on fire outside
Yeah,
Trump?
I
Like,
was
what the
actually
fuck,
watching the
dude?
news when that news broke.
Okay, tell me what
And
you heard. Tell me. Okay.
so I haven't delved back into it.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know if he was staging some sort of protest in support of Trump or if it was something else. But yeah, it was very was it the Vietnam War where the
Yeah,
student
it
the
was a
monk,
monk.
yeah,
Yeah,
set himself
out
on
of
fire.
protest.
And yeah, I'm just like, has it really gotten to that point? I mean, it's already like wasn't alive back then, but from the
But you
scenes
should
in
have.
Forrest Gump that I have memorized,
Apparently,
it
you
sure
should
does
have.
seem like the 60s.
We're pretty crazy.
It's
I love the
crazy. Yeah.
I love the clothes though. Big fan of the clothes.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the
Gotta
war.
love a big loud flower print and bell
Um,
bottom form.
I'm not a paisley girl, but I just would have loved to rock like a mini, like just and it'd been okay. Well, not me 'cause I'm fat, but if the skinny me was back in the 70s, 60s.
Yeah. With like big floppy boho hats, and I
Yes,
always
well, they have
wanted
that
like
now. We can
a
do that now.
brown suede fringe vest. That was like my like dream piece of clothing.
So you're trying to culture appropriate Native American stuff.
I guess, yeah.
God,
Because
you're
I'm
gonna
just a
get us.
white woman, and if I'm
We're
talking, I'm
gonna get
somebody.
canceled. Shit. Sorry, Native American people. I'll make a donation to your Native American museum that's here in Wichita. I'll make a donation on behalf of
I'll make a
and
donation to
Australia.
the Herd Museum.
There you go.
So
So yeah,
sorry.
I was trying to. I'm trying to find if there was any kind of update or anything. But I guess it was reported that he threw multicolored pamphlets in the air before setting himself on fire. Um, but it doesn't say what the pamphlet said. I'm trying to look and see what else I can find because obviously I haven't done much research. But the pamphlets, and then like he threw, and then it's in quotations, pamphlets, and then it was like before pouring in quotation liquid on himself.
Well, it was
And
obviously
people
an
who ran
accelerant.
and used their coats, again in quotation, civilians, court officers, member of the civilian public, in quotation. I just don't understand
I
why
love
they
how
did that.
allegedly they tried to put him out.
Allegedly, they tried to put him out.
He ended up passing away.
Yeah, his name was
His name was Robert Paulson.
Maxwell Azzarello of St. Augustine, Florida. Florida
Yeah.
man. Florida man. Are we guys? Come on. He's probably some like white redneck that was upset
You
with
know, it's
something,
there officially demanded that it doesn't give any kind of like a reason or like because if you think that if you're going to do this and you're making
Mhm.
obviously you have issues. But if you're going to do this, you would think that you would have a plan in mind. And like, if you're making this kind of statement, you have to know that there's a good chance you're going to die. Unfortunately, he did. But leave a manifest, leave me a post-it,
Like a
like,
manifesto. That's why I was just every
yeah,
other time we start to release
manifesto.
a manifesto.
Something, limit Facebook post, do a make a TikTok, do
Make
something.
the Maybe he made a story on Facebook and it expired after 24 hours and nobody saw
Oh,
it.
maybe so. See, that's why
Come
you got to
on.
when you really want to make an impact and make sure your message gets
Mhm.
out there, you have to stop posting that shit to Instagram stories and Snapchat because those disappear.
And
Facebook is
I'm
forever.
saying nothing about the why. Just that he set himself on fire outside of the courthouse for Trump's hush money trial. They're probably trying to cover it up, in all honesty,
Trump's
like for
in
why.
on it. Mr. Azzarello said on Thursday, it's a secret kleptocracy and it can only lead to an apocalyptic fascist coup. So does that mean that
Oh,
he's anti?
anti-Trump. Yeah.
Well, first of all, Mr. Azzarello. I hope you know now that that piece of shit was not worth your life. Winston agrees.
Winston's like, that's fucking right.
Yeah, everybody needs to listen to
Winston knows
Mom.
what's up, guys.
He
He
sure
knows.
does. He's the smartest dog in the world.
Oh my gosh.
He looks over my shoulder as I scroll through hours of
So
social
he's
media.
up on the
He
current
knows.
events for
He knows
sure.
everything. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's out there telling the neighbors.
he's a
He's like,
paw
"Hey, you,
above.
your dog. Did you know
Yeah.
that guy that set his fucking face on fire?
Fucking idiot. Florida man.
You know, it's other dog. Fuck you.
That's mostly what he's saying. Other dog. Fuck you, other dog. Fuck
Hey,
you.
come here.
Fuck
Come in
you
here.
too. No,
Come here.
I'm gonna
Hey,
go chew on your.
come here.
You're gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna chew on
Come
your
here.
chair. Chew on your
Come
feet.
here. You know what? Every single one of my chairs has got teeth marks on it. So you know what? Quit it.
See, but at least it's just your chairs. When Chewy was a puppy, he chewed on all 4 corners of the chairs and then all 4
Mhm.
corners of the dining table because he was taller.
Aw. Well, our
Yeah.
dining room table doesn't have corners.
Oh, it's rounded. I want a
It's round.
round one. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, when you get done, will you close the back door? Thank you. So, rest in peace, Mr. Azzarello. That Trump wasn't worth
No.
wasn't worth your life, but I think you're right. I think I think his message just rings true, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
But
I was
he wasn't worth your effort. I promise you that.
I was thinking the other day, like, we need to have, like, an age cutoff. You know how we have, like, you can't run for president before you're, like, 35? I think
Hmm.
we need, like, a you can't hold federal office after, like, the age of 65
I agree. I
because
agree.
I don't think Biden's the best, and I don't think Trump are the best, and they're on that limit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel the same way about, and I'm gonna catch heat for this. I feel the same way about like driver's licenses. I think once you hit 65,
Yeah.
you need to be like at least every 2 years. Hold on.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think at least every 2 years, you need to be required to take another eye exam, take another driving
Yeah,
test.
I agree.
Cognitive decline is, while we like
It's
to joke
real.
about it, it is a real thing. And do
Yeah.
you really want your, 70-year-old, mama out on the road? My grandmother drove with a wrist, and she took her half out of the middle, and you couldn't tell her ass nothing about
No.
no. And like that's why I would go with her every single time we would get in the car. Do you want me to drive? No.
No. Yeah.
No.
Well,
Why?
like all
Why?
these
Why?
people
Why?
that have macular degeneration, that their eyes are starting like, my dad has macular degeneration, and he's still fucking beep, boop, booping around.
Mhm.
I know it's only but I know, like, Parkinson's patients and stuff because we were watching Shrinking, and Harrison Ford, he plays like, he's in the early onsets of Parkinson's,
Yeah.
and he like, in the first couple episodes, he wrecks his car and
Mhm.
runs into, like, a and he ends up going, "Well, I took the test and blah, 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 blah." So I think that's I mean, you're absolutely right. I think that that should be a thing.
I know when I was at my aunt's, she passed away I think in 2016. They were, at her celebration of life, they were, telling funny stories about her and all that. And her husband, Greg, got up and was telling about this time that she had run off the road and her car was straddling a culvert. And like everybody's laughing. I'm like, oh, that sounds like Patty. I'm just like, why the fuck was she driving? If that's what
She
happens
could
when
have
she drives,
died.
why the fuck is she driving? But
Yeah.
I'm just a drug addict that doesn't know how to get my life together.
I
So,
mean, what do you
nobody's gonna
know?
listen to me.
Huge troublesome.
No.
What are we gonna do with you?
I'm just a damaged girl. Listen, I have had it with you. That's just the
I'm just
neighbors.
telling you not to talk about yourself like that. That's
Listen, Mommy calls a spade every single time.
all. We telling truths over here.
Tell the truth over here. Agree with you about I think there should be term limits for the Senate and the if you continue to get reelected, then yeah, I mean obviously you're doing something right for your constituents. But after a certain amount of time, after a certain age, I think that,
Mhm.
there should be an age limit because
Well, there should
times
absolutely be
change so
term
much.
limit on
Yeah.
senators, congressmen, everything because they get accustomed to making that money, and I think that's where we see change
Hmm.
stall out because these people are no longer hungry to do good for the common man. They're
Yeah.
hungry for that money. They want that chingle
Hmm.
chingle, you
Yep.
know. Because
And all
we were
that
even for
juicy, what do they call lobbyist money?
oh, fucking big pharma money. It's all fucking
Yeah,
big pharma
I give
money.
anything to take those
Boys,
fuckers
hey,
down.
boys pads, come on.
Voice pads.
If
Looking
you
at
don't
you.
come on boys pads, we're going to what did I say it was? Always something or other.
Always,
Always,
yeah.
always has an alternate
Always
brand. We are
is
not above
always
doing.
there.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper. I don't know.
I also think when it comes to our congressmen, our Senate, and our House, I think that they need to be putting in the same kind of hours that the regular workaday person does, like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can have the weekends off,
Yeah.
but you're doing the work of the country, and the country
The
doesn't
country
stop
doesn't get
working on the
summers off.
weekends.
We
Yeah,
don't get
and it's
like
like,
a month in December. We don't get spring, like eternal spring. We don't only have to show up for 4 or 5 hours a fucking week.
yeah.
We earn enough. And if you miss and you're not salary and you don't have vacation, we don't make our money.
And there's this other thing where like they can like vote by proxy. Like if they're just not
Yeah.
able to make it, they can have one of their aides or somebody else vote in their proxy. And it's like, if I donated to your campaign and I voted for you, and you can't get yourself to the chamber every day, what are you
Why are
doing?
you there?
Yeah, exactly. I get that you need to campaign. Give them, however, give them 40 hours of vacation time, give them 40 hours of sick time, and
Make
that
them
40
accrue that
hours.
shit. The rest of us have to fucking accrue that shit. Make them accrue
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. I mean, that probably won't ever be the case, but
No,
if we're going to live in, a free and fair society, it absolutely should be.
we're not going to, 'cause our society, since the dawn of time, has always been to keep the rich rich and keep the poor poor.
Yeah. The cavemen really
Yeah, they fucked that up
fucked it.
by,
Yeah,
yeah.
they fucked
Way to,
us up. Should have
you guys,
fixed
did
that
you
back then.
really need the fucking wheel? Did you need the wheel? That's where it all went wrong.
First it was the wheel,
Then
then
it
it
was
was
fire.
fire. Next
Then
thing
it
you
was like
know,
clothes inside
yeah.
houses.
Should have thought about the consequences of your actions before you started going out and
Jesus
making shit
Christ.
that
Way
make
to
people
fuck the
happy.
rest of us.
Way to go. And your insurance isn't that great.
No. But it's so easy. A caveman can do it.
It's so, I mean, yeah, but
But I like
apparently
the
cavemen are
commercials where
not
he's like
smart enough to
offended.
to install a society that works.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of old stuff, do we want to move on?
Do you want to hear about my HOA meeting I went to last week?
Yes.
So we go and
Always.
we have like 199 houses in our HOA. Okay, and our clients
109?
support 199.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like 15 people showed up for this meeting, which is a fucking shame because people want to go on Facebook and bitch and piss and moan about what. But I've been getting like these notices from HOA for our grass like over and over again. Well,
Mhm.
clearly we were not the only ones because several other people came and complained. And then we had this like he had to have been about 122. He like waddled in. He was like, and we changed his name to Leroy O'Hannigan here at our house. I'm Leroy O'Hannigan. And I don't know, it came out of nowhere. His real name it starts with an L, so it matches. I don't know what's it. He comes up and he's like, I was the HOA president for like 16 years. And we did this. He was basically saying like our HOA should be fining these people and then putting liens on their houses. And he was like, we did this and everybody was in compliance and blah, blah, blah. So that, of course, has turned into racist Leroy in our house where they're like, we should have never let the women, he's turned into a Jewish guy too. So we should have never let the women come out of the kitchen. I fought in all the wars. The
You
French
fought
and
in all the
Indian War.
wars. Great.
World War One, two, three. You guys don't know about that one because you're too young. This that kind of shit. So, are you trying to share your screen?
I'm trying to. Did it not work?
I have to add it to the stage. So
Oh,
there we
okay.
go.
It's super funny. I thought you would like it since you were talking about the.
I became the HOA president 4 months ago, and let me just tell you, I inherited a mess. Yeah, I moved in this neighborhood when I was born. When I left my mother's vagina. So you could say I'm pretty invested. Dog poop, I see dog poop. Oh, coming around. German Shepherd. That's the Clippersons. Violation. That's a violation. Oh, nothing like Tuesday morning out wrecking everyone's day. Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, is this your trash? It's not Wednesday, is it? It's Thursday. You missed pickup. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to take care of it right now. I will. That's a violation. We got a lot of diversity in this neighborhood. We actually have 4 different colors of beige that we allow people to paint their houses. So you got a lot of choices.
It's a 4-minute video, but I was just like, "Oh, you want to talk about HOAs? Let me make you giggle for a second."
Yeah. Well, we have a new what's a community manager, and he has been like he zoomed in on like a 6-inch by 6-inch corner of my yard and gave us a violation for there like being dead grass there. Kevin took like 2 weeks digging up and pulling up all of our dead grass and replacing it. We got a violation because the grass wasn't there, and it's like motherfucker, you know we're fucking working on this. And so at the end, it was like we needed another board volunteer, and I was like, I'll do it. And they're like, okay. And like this is like, I'll do it. And like one of the guys that was there that he like, he's that guy in the video almost, but he's not the president. He's just a board member. He was like, well, stand up and why, tell us why, like, you think you want to be like, we should pick you. And I was like, can we just, can we paper, rock, scissors for it? I don't have a reason. And then the lady was like, she can do it. She was scared of my paper, rock, scissors skills. That's what that was.
She didn't want the smoke.
Mm-mm. You don't want the smoke.
I can't believe somebody put you on an HOA board.
I'm the Derby Karen this week. That's gonna
Oh
be me. I
no.
was like, you guys all messed. They were like, who's in favor? Everybody's like, I was like, you guys all messed up because now I'm gonna go home and take a shower.
You fucked up.
Yeah, you fucked up. But it's
You need
true.
that on the soundboard. You need a
You
button that
fucked
goes,
up.
you
And I
fucked
gotta
up.
figure out how to, because I don't think I can add sounds to this one. But I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. Like, because I know I can go. It said something about going to like another web browser and letting it play, but that didn't work the other day. But I'm trying to figure out how to do that because I want our dumbass back. I want our Taylor Swift back. All that shit. We'll just. What else was I gonna say? I don't remember.
We're talking about the HOA and how you rock, paper, scissors your way into a position of power.
Well, she didn't want the smoke, so we didn't even rock, paper, scissors. You know, she chickened out. So that's on
She
her.
obviously doesn't care about your community.
Ted Lasso, Shelley, telling you how to deal with bullies.
Oh,
He basically goes, you ignore them, and then you go to their house at like 4 in the morning, and you stand over their bed, and then as they sleep, you start to beat them with a heavy red rope dipped in red. Here, I'm just going to share my whole screen, and then I'll mute it down. So, see if you can hear it from there.
Henry got
Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on.
bullied at school this morning.
If we leave right now and take the connecting flight through Paris, we can be in Kansas by noon, and that punk's house will be in ashes by 12:30.
No. Best thing you can do with bullies is ignore them. Then you sneak into their house at 4 a.m., which statistically speaking is the hour people are least prepared to defend themselves.
Correct.
And once you're standing over them, as they sleep in their bed, you start to beat them with a thick, heavy rope soaked in red paint, pummeling over until they wake, confusing the paint for their own blood. When they beg you to stop, you laugh as loud as you can for as long as you can. And then you start to beat them again.
That's fucked up.
But so that's where I can. He's funny. He's my favorite. But at least you could hear it that time.
Yeah, I could. Is it the whole show that intense?
No, that's just like a joke part because he's like that gruff guy, but then he's like best friends with like his 6-year-old niece. And at one of the seasons, at one point, they're in a karaoke bar, and the lead, like woman lead, she's singing "Let It Go" in a karaoke bar, and he's
Let
like
it
in the background,
go.
like, but he's mouthing as he knows all the words. And then he has to pick his niece up from school because she gets like kicked out for the day for cussing because obviously you hear him. And she goes, well, can we play Princess and Dragons again? He's like, yeah, but this time I'm going to be the princess or the dragon. She was like, no, I'm the dragon. He was like, fine. but you better have fixed the wound.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm. It's
That's
good.
really
That's
cute.
just
I like that.
it turns out Ted's son was the bully, not the one being bullied. So, but speaking of British people in soccer, football, which Kevin has started watching European football, so he was like watching it at like 7 o'clock in the morning
Oh yeah.
because we watching Ted Lasso. But April 21st, there was an article. The Spice Girls had a full reunion because Victoria Beckham turned 50.
Can I be honest? I thought she was older than that.
I mean, same. I thought she was too.
I thought
It's
she
not
was
that
in her
she looks
60s.
older, but it's just, I think it's because they've been around for so fucking long. But it was one
Yeah.
of those, you can tell like David Beckham just loves the shit out of her because like a lot of his stuff on social media was like, he was like filming her while she was like getting drunk with her girls doing her thing. And it was like all 5 of them were there.
Yeah, all
So,
5 of them.
mm-hmm. I thought they had beef, but I guess it's a big deal. I guess
You
Mel
get
C's already
to a point
50.
where you're just like, just fucking let it go.
Yeah.
I'm Victoria Beckham. I am no longer Posh Spice. Like to us, she'll always be Posh Spice. But
Yeah.
I mean, she's really made a big ass name for herself. Just I mean, aside from the fact that she married David Beckham,
Yeah.
she's had a successful
Clothing line. She's
fashion
been a
fashion
reality
career.
show.
Yeah, she's got
Yeah.
beautiful kids.
Yeah.
She's so much more than a Spice Girl now. And
Have
it
you
was
seen
just
that
like
commercial where she was like, "What
what?
was it? Was it Cinnamon Sisters?" And I couldn't remember what he said something. She was like, "What was it? Were we the Cinnamon Sisters?
No, I haven't
Like
seen
Cinnamon
that.
Spice or something?" Yeah, it's a commercial that they do. It's fucking hilarious.
I would be down for like a Spice Girls reunion tour. I would be all about that.
I wouldn't
No?
because I think it's played out, and I think it would be akin to like New Kids on the Block going on tour again, which they are obviously, but I just think
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to introduce like a whole new generation to the Spice Girls.
I don't think it will because I don't see them going forward and like continuing to make new music.
Yeah.
But it would be fun and nostalgic, like not necessarily like big arenas or like a
It's
stadium
tour,
tour
yeah.
like Taylor did, or like
Mhm.
Beyonce did, but like something like smaller venues, like whereas Taylor's playing, 50 plus thousand seat
Yeah,
stadiums, something that is, maybe between 15 and 30,000,
yeah.
which is still a shit ton of people. But like if it was me and I had female children that were like kind of into it, it would be fun to like take them to a
Yeah,
Spice
that's
Girls
true.
concert for nostalgia's sake. Obviously I probably wouldn't be able to afford the tickets because
Literally never. Yeah.
because tickets are so freaking expensive these days.
They
But
are.
yeah, I would be here for it.
Because I was even looking, Witten wanted to go, like yesterday, AJR was in Oklahoma City, and AJR is like his favorite group ever. Like he knows all of their songs and stuff. And we were going to go see them when they were here at Hartman Arena, which is like a smaller arena, like an hour from us. But they required like COVID vaccination, and we are not vaccinated by choice. And I was like, well, I can't take you because it's 2021. This are still requiring. And now it's like, obviously, it's a free for all everywhere you go. But I was like, well, maybe we can go. Well, tickets were like starting in like the fucking nosebleed with 110. And I'm like, I don't want to go
Ridiculous.
sit far away where I can't see. First of all, these spectacles ain't what they used to be. Like, I can't be
Mhm.
binocular and that shit. Like, I can't see. So I was like, sorry, Bob, it's not happening.
Then that's what I mean. It's just it's sad that you have to be in that, upper
Upper
echelon tax
echelon.
bracket
Yeah.
in order to afford to do that stuff. I don't have a clue in the world how much New Kids on the Block tickets were when I got New Kids on the Block tickets for their Magic Summer tour,
Mhm.
but I promise you. And when I say we were on the very last row in Texas Stadium, I'm talking here's our seats. There's the
Yeah.
concrete wall behind us. The other side
Yeah.
of that wall is Irving, Texas. So
Well,
we
it also
were
was a different time too, because like
mhm.
even football tickets weren't starting at
Yeah.
$250 to go to like a Cowboys game.
Ridiculous.
And
I
so,
remember when AT or is it AT&T where the Cowboys play? Oh yeah,
look,
because it's
I don't know
American
what's called.
Airlines is I
Yeah.
call it Jerry World.
Yeah, everybody. American Airlines is where the Stars play.
Yeah, and the Mavericks. But
Yeah.
fuck the Mavericks. um yeah, like I remember when they first opened and they had like what was it, like the party passes, and
Yeah.
nobody knew what a party pass was, and people were pissed. They
Oh
were
yeah.
like, "Well,
Because it's
like,
fucking
I gotta
standing
stand
room.
around,
Yeah.
and I could
You
have
pay
done this at home and
200
sat down for
and
free."
$50+ to
Mm.
stand is crazy to me.
Yeah, and that doesn't include like parking,
Yeah,
and
parking is
parking
$50.
inside of the gates is like astronomical, and then
Yeah.
all of the areas around, like it's either
And then you're paying
nowhere to park because it's
$10 for a bottle of
neighborhood,
water.
or it's a business because
Yeah.
they don't want you parking there. Although when I was a barber in Saginaw, I had a client who managed the Arby's that is across the street. I believe it was on Cooper,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
forget
Collins.
what road it was on. But
Collins.
he told me, Collins, thank you.
Yeah.
He told me, he's like, if you ever want to go to an event at the stadium, just call me and let me know, and I'll let you park it. I'll let you park in the parking lot at Arby's for free.
Oh,
And I'm like,
bet.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about going 4th of July weekend to take, because I have not been to a game at the new stadium. Like Kevin's been to, I think, one or two with Witten, maybe one. Have you been to a game at the new stadium? Okay, so no, this is before the new stadium opened. But like, I haven't been to a Ranger game in Arlington since we moved to Houston in 2013,
Okay.
and I want to go like see the Rangers. So we're talking 4th of July weekend, but I'm like, I know it's expensive for one, because like where I would sit so I could see is like starts at like $100 a ticket, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna sacrifice and sit way the fuck up and be like, boys, we're eating before we go. Like we're getting some water if we're lucky, because it's so expensive now. Like I remember we used to be able to go and get like $5 ticket at the other stadium, and yeah, they were like way, way, way up in the nosebleeds, and we would go to our seats and we would watch, and like by the second or third inning, if there was like seats down in the lower bowl, we would move down there because
Yeah.
nobody was sitting there. But you could get, but that's not a thing anymore either. You can't get $5 tickets for anywhere anymore.
They do have, and I don't know if the new Texas Rangers place, if their new ball field has it, but they do have they have tickets at a lot of different ballparks where like it's like an all you can eat kind
Yeah.
of thing, like all inclusive thing. I think at Diamondback Stadium, I think it's like $80 for a ticket, which is a lot,
Yeah.
but that includes all of the food, water, and soda, like for
I'll have to look and
for
see
the
if I can
duration of
find
the
some.
game. So I mean
'Cause that's
that
not
may be an
bad.
option. No.
Because we had something, we went to Stars game like way back in the day, and it was on that level where you had like the buffet and stuff. And then we also had seats like at one point where you could like order food from your seat. So, but yeah.
My company has a suite, a VIP suite at the Footprint Center, which is where the Suns play, the Suns and the Mercury, and no, I'm sorry, the Avalanche don't play there anymore. But we periodically will get tickets for that, and let me tell you something. There is something. It is a
Stop being a sweet.
completely
You're rich.
different. First of all, you walk in, and I'm like, "Well, this feels correct. This
Yeah,
feels
this is
like
where I
even
should have been.
this is where I belong."
That
Everybody,
time I get the treatment I
yeah, it's about
deserve.
damn
Yeah.
time I started getting what I deserve. But it's nice. Like there's the whole big spread buffet with all different kinds of food. They usually have a carving station, a
Yeah,
restaurant, or they have like a
beautiful.
dessert. It's nice. And then in the suite, they've got beer, wine, soda, popcorn, chip, like all kinds of stuff too. And of course, you're separated away from the rest of the
The
common
mass,
people,
the peasants. Yeah.
the peasants. We've been to a few events there, and it's really, really nice.
I know you get that and you're like, dang, like this is now my requirement for all viewing
I've been ruined.
everything.
I've been
Yeah.
ruined for
No,
all
there's no
future
more going
events.
back next.
Like, you want
Yeah.
me to go to an outside amphitheater?
No,
No.
Where are you bringing me air conditioning? Are you putting a dome over for me? Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't.
there's two shows coming up here that I want to go see, and of course they're both outdoor shows, and they're
Oh,
both in July.
fuck that.
They're in
Shit.
July. I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm
just
saying I get swamp ass even when we're like in an air conditioned place too, though. So
oh my god. Okay, so I took V to Pride
oh,
2
did you?
years ago. 2
Okay.
years ago. And because our Pride here is actually in November or October. One of the two. I think it's October. But so not last year, but the year before when I took them, we were on our way out and it had been raining on and off all day. And so we're walking in and these three guys are passing us and they obviously are just getting there. And there's this big storm that's the reason why we're leaving, because you can see the gray storm
Yeah,
like bearing
it's
down on us.
coming.
It's a coming. And all of a sudden where we pass these guys and I hear one of them say, well, I guess swamp ass is the flavor of the day. And I'm like, oh.
I didn't like lick, motherfucker.
I was just like, hey, happy
I mean, yeah,
Pride.
right? Yeah, I gotcha.
Awesome.
Awesome. Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh
but
no, it's a toy.
yeah, I know. You guys are fucked.
Yeah, it's over. Fucking done.
I
Two
love
old
it.
ladies.
You guys are so great.
I know.
Okay, that was random.
That's
But
something.
that's kind of where we like Kevin when we first got another job he worked for, they had season tickets to the Rangers that were like really close to behind home plate.
Ooh,
And
cool.
that is where that's where it sparked like the bougie for me because then we started going to like Stars games and when we pay for ourselves, we would sit down close to the ice because that is the treatment that I and the environment that I deserve and have become
Yes.
accustomed to now.
That is what you're
But
entitled to.
yeah, but we went to Reba, and I let my friend Sarah pick out the seats, and she picked out $72 seats, and they
Mhm.
were like up, 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 where you could only. She was like this little bright light little lady on the. You could. Thank God they had fucking screens because I couldn't see her. And
Yeah.
I was like, but they're like the seats that are like 12 rows from like the ceiling, and then you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
they're not for fat people. They're not for fat people enjoyment. They're like, let's cram as many peasants in here as we
Mhm.
can. And it was like
Mhm.
just like, and I'm not a small lady.
Yeah.
So we went to
So,
Raw. Our tickets were down like 2 aisles up from like where, like if it was hockey, there the ice would be or whatever. And
mhm.
they were comfy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw something. It was like a short or something. It was like this lady had purchased. She was a large lady, and she had purchased 2 airline seats, not because she was required to, but because it's more comfortable
She
for
wants
her.
to be comfortable. Yeah.
She wants to be comfortable, and if you can got the money, honey, spend it.
Yeah. Send
Get
it.
get
Yeah.
you buy that whole damn
Good on
aisle
you,
if you want
girl.
to.
Hmm.
Yeah, go do it. So, anyways, apparently the flight was oversold.
Of
And
course.
they came to her and asked her to give up the second
The seat
seat
she
that
paid
she had
for.
paid for. And they like were like almost like to a threatening point, like
I've
making
seen
her
that
think
one.
that they were gonna make her like get off the plane if they didn't. I'm just like, no, no. And she stood her ground
Good
and
for
they didn't do
her.
shit about it. Like, it's not my fault that you oversold, because you
Yeah.
probably would have, if I would have gotten on this plane with only one seat, promise you this plane would have been full and booked and there would have been no extra seats, and you would have
Yeah.
had to move somebody, and then you would have charged me for that extra seat.
Yeah.
So I was just like, good for her. Good for
Good
her
for her.
standing her ground and not letting her weight be the reason why she's limited and like what she can do and where
Mhm.
she can go. And shame on that airline for making her think that just be like her money wasn't good enough. Good enough to
Well,
pay
what's
for the
up with
seat.
the barrage of have you seen all of the Reddit posts and just like the am I the assholes of people feeling like they're entitled to somebody's like airline seat? Like, there's all these stories about
Wow.
how people have paid for whether it's they want to be at the window or they want the legroom of the aisle seat, but there's parents that they don't plan ahead and they're like, "Well, I want to sit next to like Timmy Tim Tim. Can you give up your seat?" And they're like, "No, like I paid an extra fee for this spot for a reason." And it's one of those, I
Mhm.
think just like the entitlement, this
Yeah.
world entitlement we have is just getting 100 billion% out of control, you know?
Yeah. Like, I think that some exceptions can be made if it's like, because like for instance, when my sisters and my mother flew out here, they my stepfather didn't book I think he booked on Frontier, which is kind of like
Mhm.
Spirit, and like you pick your seats. He didn't think that my mother has Alzheimer's and she needs somebody next to her that
Yeah.
can help with that, and he didn't bear that in mind. So my sister asked the flight attendant if there would be any way that they could, ask if the person that said, and the person said no, because
Yeah.
no, this
They
is
pay
the
for their
seat that I
seat.
picked. This is the one
Yeah.
that I paid for. I'm not moving. That is their right to do. But you are right. You are correct in the fact that those are things that if you know that you're flying with a child or somebody
Yeah.
with a disability or special needs, you have to have that extra level of planning.
Yeah.
Like my kids, that when they fly on Southwest, I know that they can check in for their flight 24 hours before their flight. So
Mhm.
24 hours before their flight, I am on my phone. I am waiting for the email. And as soon as I get it, I
You
click
can just
check in,
check them in.
because the
Yeah.
earlier you check in, the earlier your boarding group is. And
Yeah.
so that gives them a higher probability that they will be able to, one, get the seats where
Sit
they're
together.
comfortable, and they
Yeah.
will be able to sit together. But that is the extra level of awareness and planning that you have to have these days, and I'm sorry that you didn't, but I did,
Yeah.
and that's not and what do we say? Poor planning on your part does not
You
denote
have
an
an
emergency on
emergency
mine.
on mine.
But I
Exactly.
would be the same way. No, I paid however much I paid for this plane seat. It was
Yeah.
probably more than I can afford. I probably had to put off a bill or two in order to afford it, or I had to borrow
Yeah.
money. And no, I'm not
No,
moving. I'm sorry that you want to sit next to your bum ass husband, but I guess he's going to be looking at my titties for 2 hours.
exactly. I just
Sorry.
think that's what you said. Like, I'm one of those that it was you you're cognitively aware that those, like, items are required. Like, if you wanna sit together, you have to pay the extra. If you wanna choose your seat, there's a fee. Because I've been looking at flights and stuff lately, just dream vacation planning just because everywhere is like you get seat access for an additional fee, or you can pay more and your seat choice is included.
Mhm.
Don't be a cheapskate. Don't be a dumbass. Read the fine fucking print, you know?
Yeah.